you pick up this name I'm going to drop. Darcy Norman said to me, after, they won the World Cup with Germany, and Exos said, who do you want to learn from for the World Cup next year in rugby? I said, give me a day with Darcy Norman. And to be fair to them, they did it. They flew him in and we got to sit in a room with him for a day. And one of the things that he talked about is, by definition, when you begin, you're a generalist. You're okay at a bunch of stuff. You're not an expert at anything. And then naturally, you're going to gravitate towards being the guy in one thing. You've got an area that you're really good at that you like. So does Mike. I have the same. But eventually, when you become the guy running the business, managing the staff, being the head, you have to become a generalist again.
Yeah.
So it's like, for my kid, I want my kid to just be okay at a bunch of stuff and say, right, what is it that you want to do, that you want to be the world's best at, and then go out and do it. Yeah. And then if you get bored and you change your mind, you want to be a generalist again, go do that. What does education teach you to do? Teaches you to be okay at a bunch of stuff and not focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Vertical integration and training. Do the bare minimum of a bunch of shit. Do that one thing that you really need to focus on and hammer the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Education, same. Be okay at this, right? What do you like to do? Go do 50% of it in the working week. Yeah. That's how I do it differently. I'm not an educator.
So to combat those ideas, there's also the thought process of becoming specialized with one thing and you become very, very good at it, right? That's only one analogy you're creating. And then you become the man with the hammer syndrome. Whereas my thought process with what it is that I'm trying to do with my education for myself is become very, very good at multiple avenues within some kind of realm, right? Yep. That all kind of constitute the realm, but kind of don't. And they're always on outside edges of it. And then all of a sudden you become a super expert in multiple things more than
you're in that third phase. That's why.
Yeah.
You've been doing it.
And it's called skill stacking. I mean, Scott Adams talks about this, and this is fantastic. That's how you separate yourself from already a niche field, and you make yourself even more unique, and authentically you, because you've pursued your intuitions.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it's all the same. You're trying to make people feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, even if I were to have it my way with my kid, right? They would be very good at sports. And I shouldn't even say very good, but they'd be very competent. They'd be competent in sports. They'd be competent in music. They'd be competent in arts. They'd be competent. You name it. I want them to be competent and not just like, hey, we have art class. I want them to dedicate a lot of time, sufficient time doing this and learning about that and what constitutes these subject matter in these areas. That way you can fully understand it. And now when you're trying to apply or when you're trying to problem solve throughout life, you can pull from all these different branches to be able to come up with a solution rather than just saying, well, I'm really good at working with fucking batteries. How does a battery work? Let me apply that to this. Like, that's cool. That's great. But also it doesn't, like, the well-rounded jack of all trades is a very, very valuable person when it comes to specialization. Whereas if you specialize very, very early, then you're limited. What's that?
Without that foundation.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you don't want to be the CrossFit of child development. Good at a bunch of stuff, excellent at nothing.
But I feel like that's not the inherent human condition.
I agree.
think all of us have skills, and there's this huge focus on, I need to focus on my weaknesses. And I think I don't think you should focus on your weakness. I think you should focus on your skills, because you have no idea where, and especially if you go in this realm of, I'm just going to pursue this myself and use my own intuition to develop this, rather than look at this guy's 5-step plan is going to get me to this, like, drop all of that garbage and try to become a complete world expert and leader in one thing, whilst, exploring other stuff. And maybe you have to look at your weaknesses a bit, but if you're born with inherent strengths, you're always going to be better at art or music or dance or sport. And throw them at it all.
It comes from passion and a position of strength.
Yeah.
Success comes from exploiting your own strengths. The trick is to not have such a glaring weakness.